Hey everybody, Chris here. One of the Dogecoin ETFs did a refiling and is going to be launching soon. We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And I know we have the US government shutdown continuing and there's overall weakness in the market. We have a new box on my Dogecoin chart as the sideways chop continues, just at a slightly lower level. Bitcoin dropped below $100,000 again. And everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens. There's a vote that's supposed to happen on Friday, and I'm making this video before that vote. Most likely, the Democrats are still going to vote no. And Markey said last night that Democrats are unified in that. Prices are down. But could this be, again, prices down so someone big can buy in before the market takes off when the US government shutdown ends? We're hoping for that, but sentiment is pretty low, and the poly market bettors are not thinking that it's going to be opening anytime soon as well. So we have all of that to start with. Got some other interesting charts to go through before I get to the Dogecoin ETF news. So let's get into it. Let me show you the charts and the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart at 16.2. We are right at our upward sloping support line. Of course, a couple days ago, Dogecoin did dip down to about 15.4 here on the dip. And this is my new box, guys. The purple box is still up here at 18 cents. Got a ways to go to get back in there. And because of the sort of depressed feeling that's in the market, we're doing a sideways crab dance, just a little lower than the previous 3 weeks because of that negative sentiment. So that is where Dogecoin is right now. Bitcoin is hugging $100,000. Again, did dip below 100K a couple days ago and just did again this morning. So sideways chop in Bitcoin and most other cryptos too. There's a few that still take off every now and then because that can happen. And there's some others that drop lower. We'll be tracking all of that. Check in on my next live stream Friday afternoon where we can check in on the rest of the crypto market. But right now, I want to focus on the current kind of feeling about alt season. Like, why is there no alt season? What's going on? It's November. We're supposed to be mooning, right? Moonvember. We've had $125 billion liquidated in leverage this year alone. If that capital had gone into spot assets instead, there'd be no thin liquidity across the market, no cascade that results in market crashes. There'd be less selling pressure. We could have a total crypto market cap 5 to 6 trillion, or even up to 10 trillion like Jordan Cameron was saying. Leverage is killing the bull. Spot hodl is the real season. But right now it's like, that's not what's happening. And those leverage traders, those degens, they just go right back in. They get liquidated again and again and again. It's like, where's all that money coming from? So that has been the story, and it's been a tough one. But what about this, correlation with gold, right? We have this 80-day offset here on this chart where, gold went on this big run up to $4,000, and Bitcoin usually follows gold, but it's going the other way now. It's like, what's going on here? Why isn't it following like it's supposed to, right? Where's the money coming from? Why is this depressed? I mean, a lot of it is, again, the market makers and exchanges controlling the market, pushing Bitcoin's price down along with all those other altcoins that have the heavy leverage trading, and just wiping out leverage. That's what I see happening. The 4-year cycle in crypto, though, is not based on the halving, and it's not based on an exact 48-month timeline on your calendar. It's like, what? What happened to the 4-year cycle? It's based on liquidity in the US business cycles. When the business cycle begins its expansion phase, this will be the beginning of the Bitcoin blow off top. When the business cycle peaks, Bitcoin will be setting its climactic cycle top. But we haven't had that yet. I mean, we look at this ISM Purchasing Managers Index. We had a huge run in that in 2017. We had a huge run in 2021 following the big COVID crash, right? We haven't really had it yet. And this kind of reflects the market. The market's kind of like waiting and seeing. This has been extended out, partially because most recently of the US government shutdown, but we had all of the negative impacts from the tariffs, right? That began back in January. Remember that? January, we were supposed to be flying, right? The inauguration of the Trump presidency, and then let's go. And it didn't. It went the other way. So this is getting delayed. And the longer this gets delayed, the longer we're going to be talking about extended cycles into 2026. That's more what this is looking to be about. Throughout the cycle, we've seen 7 corrections that have resulted in 20% plus drawdowns. That's this cycle. During this long extended bull run for Bitcoin from the beginning of 2023, we've had these pullbacks. And this 21% pullback we have right now in Bitcoin from its new all-time high could just be that, a pullback before another run up. That could be the case. And then, of course, Bart, like, the BTC top is not in, the BTC top is not in, the BTC top. Just keep repeating that over and over again, right? Over and over again. The bulls will continue that. And I know you bears out there are like, oh, that's just stupid, right? We're in a bear market already. Don't you know that, Chris? And I'm like, not necessarily. And we don't have confirmation yet because we've seen these before. And each of those other times we ended up not being in a bear market. It just turned around and went higher. That could still happen. Bitcoin supply in a loss. We talked about this yesterday. This is another chart showing the same thing. That every time, right, we have a pullback in the Bitcoin price, right? You had a lot of buyers buying in near the previous top. Like everyone who bought Bitcoin for over $100,000 now is actually in a loss. So with supply and loss, right, what typically happens? It turns around and then drops back down because the price goes higher. And we've seen that again and again and again this cycle. Could this be another one of those where retail is panicking, right? Selling at a loss, smart money is loading, they're moving in, and they are buying. And it's that transition of money from the impatient to the patient. Again, yet again, that's happening. Colin says, look, I find it funny how the crypto market is so quick to call price action they don't like as whale manipulation, right? Whale manipulation. So we saw it again, beginning of 2024, manipulation, dropping the price down, and then distribution, price goes up. Here we are again, right around 100K. Manipulation. Is this really what it is? Chart deviations aren't always manipulation. The pendulum can swing too far in both directions, though. It's not really some grand conspiracy. People thinking the whales are doing it. It's not. It's the leverage. It's the leverage. That's what this has all been about this cycle. The leverage. What about Doge? Well, look, Doge OS launches US Doge, the first Doge-backed stable for lending and trading. That's right. US Doge. We've been talking about a stable coin being launched on the Dogecoin blockchain. Here we go. Here we go. The future is going to be stable coins. I've been talking about stables for months now, and you guys, oh, Chris talking about stable coins. That's what the whole Clarity Act is in the United States, right? It's all about stable coins. That's what they want to promote, not cryptocurrencies. They want stable coins. So we're going to have a Doge-backed stable coin. And that could be the key to Dogecoin adoption going forward on the Dogecoin blockchain, with the stable actually doing the work on the app layer, right? More transactions per second can happen. And it's all around Doge. Totally awesome. Boy, these Sydney Sweeney, this interview just happened and like it already a meme, right? Already a meme, just it's awesome, right? How Sydney like answered these questions from this totally liberal news person. It was just like so crazy. But like, you're into crypto, right? And she's like, yeah, Dogecoin only. The Dogecoin memes, they're just so good. Elon says time to pull a lot of rabbits out of a hat. What does he mean by that? Doge tipping is like, yeah, it's time. Dogecoin. I'm guessing this is all about Tesla, though. I mean, that was the big news yesterday, was all about Tesla. So we're guessing Elon is just, now that he's going to have this $1 trillion pay package over the next 10 years, is going to be like, all right, Elon, let's go. But who knows about Dogecoin? And we look at Doge and we look at the price of Doge zoomed out in its history. We've seen this kind of pattern before, right? Dogecoin accumulating. Is it ready for this next big move up that hasn't happened yet? That's what we're looking for. The calm before the storm. And what could bring that on? How about ETF approval, right? ETF approval for Dogecoin? Buy signals are aligning with Dogecoin. What is this? Well, Eric Balkunas here at Bloomberg says, looks like Bitwise is doing the 8A move for their spot Dogecoin ETF. Basically means they plan on going effective in 20 days, barring an intervention. It's like, why would they do this? Why would they do this, right? Well, if the government shutdown continues for 20 more days, that's 20 more days that everything in the ETF front for Doge would be delayed. So they're going to just do what some of these other companies have done and said they have refiled with this Section 8A of the Securities Act. And they're just basically saying, look, if nobody objects within 20 days, we're going to go live. And if the SEC isn't back because of an extended government shutdown, the Dogecoin ETF is going to launch for Bitwise. I don't know what Grayscale's doing yet, but Bitwise is saying, we're not waiting. We are not waiting. So that would be November 27th would be the date for that. So, and we've got other things going, right, with technicals and Doge, right? They're identifying a large multi-year triangle pattern pointing towards a possible dollar target. Thank you to Trader Allen. With TD sequential flashes a buy signal as RSI and MACD hint at stabilization right around 16 cents. And market analysts expect Doge to regain 20 cents mark if ETF enthusiasm aligns with technical recovery. So we can cover all of this more in our live stream as well, with what happens during the day. Here's Trader Allen's big triangle pattern. Again, that's just a pattern on a chart. Doesn't really mean anything. We've got Ali talking about the TD flashing a buy signal on Dogecoin, meaning the local bottom may be in, but there are many who are anti Ali, right? The old reversal, similar to the Jim Cramer when Ali does these things. There it is again. And we're like, okay, let's go. But right now, with RSI, MACD all lining up right now for Doge for that recovery, and we will continue to watch that as well. So big news on the Dogecoin ETF front. Again, that's 20 days out. We'll just keep waiting and waiting. The patience, right, it takes, especially on something like Doge. I know there's a lot of bears out there who are just going to dismiss this whole thing. We're in a bear market. ETFs don't matter. But we've seen that they do. We've seen that with Bitcoin and ETH, and a Dogecoin ETF will be an exciting thing. So we will be watching this. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Dogecoin ETF, bear or bull? Right now, I'm saying we're in a crab, and we may be in a crab market for 20 days now. We'll be watching the boxes between the red and the purple and what happens here. This is how I am visualizing how the trading has been going. Don't get stuck in the box, right? Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.